Welcome back to Cryptorama. Fryler with the Corn Mafia here. Last week we had some huge updates to the Copi-Wiki. I'm really excited to share them all with you. We've got brand new mechanics such as the influence spheres being introduced. We've got new information regarding NFT land plot rarity, building maintenance, a ton of information just helping to flesh out this massive in-game economy. For those of you who don't know, the Copi-Wiki is a living document that's constantly being updated with new information. Currently over 200 pages long, could easily grow to be over 1,000 by the time they're all said and done. So yeah, it's got everything you could ever want to know Cornucopias. If you don't have a base understanding of it, I definitely go give it a read right now. I'd recommend that. Or go check out one of my previous videos on the topic. As in this video, I'm only going to go over the updates. So let's just get right into it. Here we are on the Copi-Wiki. I'll include a link down in the description, of course. Before we get too far, keep in mind, guys, everything in the Copi-Wiki is still a work in progress and therefore is subject to change before the release of the game. So as I mentioned in the intro, we have this new mechanic being introduced, the influence sphere. So every district lands plot is going to be inside one of these influence spheres, which is basically going to act as a safe zone. If you travel outside the safe zone, you're going to open yourself up to player versus player attacks, animal versus player attacks, and just general harm to yourself and or buildings that exist outside those zones. So anytime a player is inside one of these influence spheres, whether they belong to that district or not, they are going to receive some safety from it. So it's advised that any player that wants to avoid conflict stay inside an influence sphere. That, of course, is easier said than done, as there's going to be quests and different points of interest outside these zones that are going to encourage players to go and explore them. So during each district season, you're going to have a chance to grow your safety zone. You can do this by doing activities that include but are not limited to players crafting and constructing and maintaining buildings on their properties, trade increasing, the district population increasing, productivity of raw materials and goods increasing. So basically all these different district activities are going to improve your district score, which is going to increase the size of your district safe zone. So these zones can grow and overlap and become much larger. But at the beginning of each season, they're going to reset back to zero and you're going to have to restart growing them again. So it's a really cool dynamic way to keep the landscape shifting and changing inside Cornucopias. And I think it's going to add a really interesting factor to, who wants to live where, what properties you might be renting out, depending on which district, maybe increases their safety zone to include a fishing spot you love or a mining spot you love or what have you. I also got some new information regarding the land plot utility. So we always knew there was going to be this build to earn function, and now we have a little bit more information on how that's actually going to work. So these buildings are going to have blueprints, which is going to be a technical specification of the raw materials required to build it. Once you have acquired all the materials, you'll be able to either construct the building into an in-game building or mint it as an NFT if applicable. So there's going to be progressive and dynamic land plot aspects. So an example of the progressive aspect is while the land's being worked, all that information is going to be stored on the blockchain forever. Other assets such as lampposts, decorations, common buildings, and raw materials are going to be stored on that property. Whereas some other NFTs, the dynamic NFTs, are going to be able to be sold, removed, reused, and used at your own discretion. So this is going to open up a lot of opportunities for players to earn in-game, as well as hotels and bakeries and some of these major utility buildings are going to require a lot of resources to make. In turn, requires a lot of time, so that's a huge investment by the player into these buildings. So it's going to be beneficial for some people to just go ahead and buy that hotel or bakery instead of spending all their time building it. So again, just another aspect that they're adding to this massive in-game economy. One of the new aspects that I'm really excited about in the Copi-Wiki is this community build and earn. So there are going to be lots of buildings and assets in-game that are too large for a single player to build. So it's actually going to take teams of players to source all the materials for the blueprint. These are going to be regular construction and crafting challenges where district community members will work independently and together to complete this new blueprint. So the blueprint itself is going to be subdivided into quotas. Each player will have an opportunity to claim a quota and to build their portion of it. Once the entire quota has been filled and all the blueprints are completed, if the challenge has not ended, the game will automatically create this new asset, which will either be an in-game building or an NFT, depending on the challenge. So they go on to remind you that to enter the district challenge, you will need to be a part of a district. So either own land inside that district or rent a room in it. Lots of stuff going on here, guys. So, of course, experience earned across the different Cornucopias metaverses, both PC, mobile, Racing League, etc., is going to play a huge role in the future of landowners and play and earn. So this will be explained in detail in the future. Some challenges will give players the ability to craft a blueprint into an NFT asset. The NFT may then be sold to players in-game via a fixed price or auction. This newly minted NFT may have a rarity, chosen at random, assigned to it, such as common, uncommon, rare, legendary, or mythic. If a rarity is assigned, the rarity might not be revealed until the NFT has been bought by the general public. After the NFT sale, the proceeds of the sale will be divided between the players based on the quota they provided to the build. So very interesting here. So say your district designs and builds this brand new in-game NFT and they sell it. You guys could actually make money off the sale of that NFT in-game, and it's all going to be facilitated by the game itself. So another thing I want to point out, you guys, say your district doesn't complete the challenge in time, but you've already sourced all this raw material from doing challenges. When a new challenge begins, you may have enough raw materials already stored to meet a quota immediately for the new challenge. Here we have some more information regarding buildings, utilities, and vehicles. Of course, there's going to be a ton of different in-game objects and buildings, and these will be appearing slowly over the first few years of the game. Here's some examples of ones you might find. Now we've got utility buildings and animal buildings. These buildings can be built on any land plot of any size, assuming that there is still room for the building you're trying to build. So these include, farmhouse, biofuel, gas pump, chicken coop, cow shed, pig shed, all these different things. Now we've got commercial and industrial buildings. So commercial and industrial buildings are larger than most buildings and can only be placed on large, epic, or copious land plots due to their size. Now they've also included building maintenance as well. So some buildings are going to require maintenance and regular repairs over time, just like in real life. So your building's got a survival and needs system as well. So there's going to be a building maintenance schedule, which may be at least once a season. If any repairs are needed and not done over time, the building will become unusable and may even explode into raw materials. Don't let that happen. So of course, we always knew that farming was going to be a part of the game, but now we've got some more information regarding that as well. So all farms are NFT district land, which enable players to grow and harvest crops. These are located in districts on player land. To have a working farm, the landowner needs to build up the facilities to a minimum level before the land can be farmed and other players can be invited to tend the land. So the more facilities you have, the larger, the bigger you upgrade, the more attractive it's going to be to players to come and farm your land for you. In order to become a farm, you're going to need to have the following minimum infrastructure. So 1 farmhouse, 8 soil plots, 1 barn or silo, 1 power supply, and 1 water well. Of course, all things you're going to need to own a farm. So of course, land plots are a progressive NFT, and the location of the land plot is going to be claimed by the initial owner during that land rush. We've always known that rarity was going to be how they determine which order you pick. For example, mythic is going to be the first to pick, common will be the last. But now they've also included new information to let us know that the rarity of your land plot is also going to determine what type of materials you can source from it at the beginning of each season. And also, the rarity of the land plot is going to determine the art style of the buildings that appear on it. For example, a common farmhouse is going to look a little different to a mythic farmhouse. So they go on to talk about the soil grade as well, which is another new concept being introduced in this Copi-Wiki. So there are 5 grades of soil. Each land plot starts off with grade 1, which is the most common, and you can improve it using fertilizer all the way up to grade 5. Grade 5 soil is going to grow crops faster than your grade 1. They may also have rarer crops in the future that only grow in higher grade soils. So again, a really complex system they're building here, you guys. Your watering schedule is going to affect the crops. If you don't water enough, they're going to dry out and not grow fast enough. They could even die. The harvest quantity is going to be determined by how well your crops were nurtured. You've got harvesting skills, which are going to determine, how much of that crop you can harvest. There's a lot of different things going on here, you guys. Again, I highly recommend you come read the Copi-Wiki and get all that information that I'm not getting into, because it's really granular and just a lot. There's a lot. So yeah, you guys, a ton of new information inside the Copi-Wiki. Of course, I definitely recommend you come and read through everything yourself. There's just little tidbits here and there on lots of pages that I just didn't get into today. If you enjoyed today's video, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Go follow Cornucopias in their Discord, on their socials. Go join a guild today, and we'll catch you guys in the next video.